Hi again, and very good morning to everyone. Welcome to our webinar. Today we are going to share with you the fundamentals, the basics, and whatever is related to artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI. We are going together to understand whatever is related to the current state of art of artificial intelligence. And then we are going to do a demo, or we are going to do coding together. So I'm going to share with you my coding. I'm going to share with you the screen. You can do the coding on your side, or you can have the codes ready later on for you to understand what is going on. The most important thing for today, it is to understand the theory part of artificial intelligence. And at the same time, we are going to share with you the practical part if you want to work on your own data, if you want to use machine learning, if you want to use a programming language, if you want to know what is going on currently in the market. Either you want to develop something by yourself, or you want to ask your staff to develop for you, or at least to understand what is in the market and what is the recent updates of the artificial intelligence. So let me share with you the slides just to let you see the steps of today. And then I'm going to share with you some background check in a while. So again, this is going to be building machine learning models by using generative AI, smarter, faster, and more efficient. We are going to use both ways. We are going to use the traditional way of building machine learning, and then we are going to see how generative AI currently involved to write the codes, to build those codes, and then to tune, to improve, to do whatever is related to build the model, definitely to speed up the process. And definitely it is a leveling up for those who are very fresh to the topic. And at the same time, is going to get more skills, going to do up skills by building the model by yourself. A lot of people, they think using programming language, using, like, for example, Python programming language, or using those tools to build model, to develop model is quite difficult. But believe me, it is way easier than you think, and you will see by yourself today. And then later on, you can join us for our courses to go further and to work on more things and more data. All right, so for today, we are going to have an introduction to artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, AGI. If you have heard about the AGI, then this is good. You are going to get more knowledge about AGI. If you never hear about AGI, then we are going to discuss what is AGI and what is ASI soon today. Then the second part is going to be about building machine learning model using Python programming language. We are going to look at the steps. We are going to look at what are the important things that you have to do once you decided to work on your own data, or to use machine learning to work on your own data. And then we are going to look at the generative AI tools in general currently in the market that we are aware of, and those generative AI tools that we are not aware of. Can you imagine the number of the generative AI tools? It is way more than what we think. Me, myself, and I believe all of you using generative AI tool. And if you ask what is the generative AI tool, then generative AI tool, it is something like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Grok, what else you are using daily? Adobe Firefly, Midjourney, and whatever is related, DeepSeek. So those are the generative AI tools. I think we are aware of maybe 3 of them. Let's say maximum maybe 10 of them. But can you imagine, in the market currently, we have more than 18,000 generative AI tools available in the market, but we are not aware of them. We are going to look at also how to keep ourselves up to date, how to keep ourselves in touch with the recent update of the generative AI tools, and what is going to be released today, what is going to be released next week. And even those those generative AI tools, once we are using them, they also always going to upgrade from time to time. So we need to keep ourselves up to date. So we are going to look together how to keep ourselves up to date to those generative AI tools. And then we are going to build a model together. So today is not only a theory. We are going to do practical. It could be like half of today, the theory part of whatever related to AI and building machine learning and even building generative AI model. And then the second half is going to be for looking at the codes, looking at the generative AI tools. We are going to work together on our model. We are going to build it from scratch up to deployment. We are going to look at also what are the steps, how to build those steps, how to use those steps. And then for the further, if you think this is something interesting, then you can join us for our coming courses. All right, just a quick one about me. I have a PhD in artificial intelligence. I was using artificial intelligence for working on medical images. I built an automated anatomy. This is what the medical doctors call it. For us in the field, we call it the classification and annotation. And I'm a certified trainer, and we have been quite long with the Gemini. Then we are focusing on whatever is related to artificial intelligence. You can find me on LinkedIn. This is my link. And then before we start with the today's session, we are just going to do a quick background check. So then we will know like how far we can go today and how fresh we should start. All right, okay, thank you so much for the responses, while others still answering the questions. So let's discuss those questions. So the first one, what is digital transformation? I can see majority, 43% of you answered as digital transformation. It is the integration of the digital technology. And then we have like, I think only 1%, digital transformation is dealing with the huge amount of data. And then 28%, which is 11 of you, digital transformation, it is the movement from manual to digital. Then digital transformation, it is about using artificial intelligence for automation. So the most, like I would say, answer, which is to suit this question, it is about moving from the manual to digital, to digitalize everything. No more documents, no more manuals. Everything is digital. Everything is on the cloud, and kind of, if we are that advanced in the field of the digital transformation. And because of the digital transformation, then we have the big data. Because of the digital transformation, we have this huge amount of data. Because of the digital transformation, we have this huge demand on artificial intelligence currently. For your information, artificial intelligence, it is not something new. Artificial intelligence, it was in the market as a science, as a technology since 50s, since the first computer machine came to the market. Then scientists and people in the field of the computer science in that time, especially when it comes to the software and hardware, they came with the artificial intelligence. And then the main idea of the artificial intelligence, it was how to make the computer machine smart, or how to make the computer machine think like a human, answer questions like a human, making decisions like a human. So to think like a human, to act like a human. All right. So what is a big data? 20 people of you, more than 50% answered as it's a huge amount of data. Big data, it is the data that we generate every day. Big data, it is the data that we cannot handle. Then big data about the facts of the data. Yes, but when you talk about the big data, so the right definition of the big data, we don't have it. If you search online, if you ask any of the generative AI tool like Gemini or ChatGPT, I don't think we have a definite definition about the big data. We have the facts of the big data. What And those facts what make the data that we are dealing with to be considered as a big data. Because when it comes to the big data, you may ask, okay, so how big is the big data, or how big is the data to be considered as a big data? Okay, so we are going to look at the facts of those data to be considered as a big data. All right, very nice, fantastic, thank you. What do you think the primary goal of artificial intelligence? And this is what I mentioned just now. Sorry, but let's see the answers. So 44% agree that the primary goal of artificial intelligence is about creating machines that can think and behave like a human. Exactly. Developing machines with advanced mathematical capabilities. This is what artificial intelligence, part of the artificial intelligence doing, enhancing natural human abilities through technology, definitely, and designing efficient algorithms for data processing. The most right one, it is creating machines that can think and behave like human. So do you think artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, generative AI tool, and big data topics are interconnected? Yes. Thank you so much for the answer. All of you agree, yes, they are. And then we have 3 of you, all of these topics, because of the big data, they are interconnected. And yes, they are because of the big data, but whether the big data is interconnected or not. And then we have only 1%, though they are working independently. Each one comes with its own applications. So thank you so much for the answer. We are going to look at the definition of everyone. We are going to look at what are those about. Then we are going to see whether they are interconnected or not. And even when we say, yes, they are interconnected, so how interconnected they are? So what is the way then they are interconnected? And the question is, I am owner of the company, or I am the CEO, or I am a person which is, okay, making the decision of using artificial intelligence. So when it comes to use artificial intelligence, should I use artificial intelligence, or should I use machine learning, or should I use deep learning, or should I jump to generative AI? So which one? So to have the very clear image about this kind of interconnection and those technologies, we are going to understand them soon. So have you heard about AGI and ASI? Majority, no. And they are still a theory? Yes, exactly. Artificial AGI is considered as, or stands for Artificial General Intelligence. ASI, it is Artificial Super Intelligence. They are still a theory. A lot of high-tech companies, they started to say that their tools moved to the AGI, some of them to the ASI, but I think it's only a marketing. I don't believe they are the real application of AGI and ASI. We are going to understand them as well today. All right, and this is something what all of those high-tech companies started to talk about a few years ago. Algorithms or human, then majority agree both. Then we have 5 of you preferred algorithms than human. Thank you. And then we have 1 of you believes that a human overall. It's to share with you the reality from someone which is coming from this field, doing the training and then doing the practical. We are definitely, it's quite subjective to be considered, definitely, but coming from the technical part, definitely we will always focus on the human. Without the human, without the creativity of a human, without the ability and the complex thinking of a human, definitely we are not going to have all of this kind of development. We are going to look at it. At the same time, we can also consider as algorithm of a human for those who like they want to use it to settle out, to finish, or to speed up the process of the job. Okay. And for those who are like doing both, maybe the early stage of doing both, which is developing tools to be used for the work, then definitely they are going to believe to use both human and algorithms. Okay. Did you practice Python programming language for data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI tool? Majority never practice. And we have 6 of you a long time ago, and then we have 9 of you recently. Fantastic. First of all, you may ask, why Python programming language while we have many, not many, plenty of programming language, of computer programming language in the market? We are focusing on Python programming language because Python programming language, it is considered as the most powerful programming language, the easiest programming language, the most user-friendly programming language for everyone to learn and to master. Again, it is the most powerful programming language when it comes to the field of AI. It is the easiest programming language to learn and to master. It is the most friendly programming language for those in the field of AI. Python programming language can be used for AI, can be used for software engineering, can be used for web development. So that's why we call it multi-purpose programming language. When it comes to AI, it is the most powerful programming language. It is the easiest programming language for everyone to learn, especially for those who are very fresh to the topic, who are very fresh to any computer programming language. I have trained more than 5,000 people so far. I have trained people from medical department to use Python programming language on data. I have trained people who are lawyers, who are into art. I have trained people, those who didn't attend university, still with the higher school. When we talk about medical, when we talk about lawyers, when we talk about medical doctors, when we talk about lawyers, when we talk about people in art, they are quite far from IT. They are quite far from computer science. They are quite far from computer programming language because their study and their field, their interest totally different. But a matter of 3 months, a matter of maximum 6 months, I would say, they were able to master the whole programming language to work on the data, to analyze the data, to build artificial intelligence model, to automate things, and whatever they need to use. So it's quite interesting. It's quite nice. It is something I would say must learn for today purposes. Everyone needs to learn programming language. And when it comes to artificial intelligence, if you are interested in this field, then the easiest, the fastest, the most powerful one to learn it is Python programming language. All right, so that's why I asked about Python programming language. So for those who never try Python programming language, today you are going to have a quick understanding about Python programming language. All right, if you have a choice to implement AI solution at your organization, will you build it or you are going to buy it? We have majority agree that build it. And we have 20%, 21% of you agree with buying it. If you ask me, I think based on the situation of the organization. So this is a very interesting question for all of you to understand what is going on in the market. So to buy it definitely is going to be easier, faster, and cheaper. Yes, it's going to be cheaper. Easier, faster, and cheaper. To build it is going to take longer time. It's going to take a lot of efforts and talent, people, and then it's going to take more costs. But you are going to save the most important thing, which is the privacy of the data. If you are going to buy it, then the privacy of the data is going to be a question mark. All right. So it depends on the situation of the organization. It depends on the purpose. It depends on what to use it for. It depends on what is the strategy. So it will be a lot of things to be considered before considering buying the AI tool or building the AI tool. All right. Are you familiar with building a predictive model, data processing, exploratory data analysis? You heard about them, but never practiced. 60% of you. Perfect. We are going to look at those steps today. We are going to look at the fundamentals, the basics. It's going to be a very good start for everyone to know what is going on in this field and what are those about. When it comes to data wrangling, when it comes to data processing, when it comes to building predictive model, exploratory data analysis will be a lot of coding, a lot of understanding, a lot of statistics, a lot of math, a lot of complex statistics and complex math. But the good thing is, when it comes to Python programming language, this is another point to be added to Python programming language for those who are in the field of artificial intelligence. When it comes to this field, using Python programming language is going to be using the third-party tools. All of those tools have been built and then still building on complex math, complex statistics, and complex coding as well. Do we have to really know the math behind it, or the statistic behind it, or the real code behind it? Not really. And I will prove that today by doing some codes, and I will show you like this code is originally and what is related. Like, for example, the algorithm. If we talk about the algorithm, it's going to be a lot of math, a lot of equations, a lot of complex things. But we are going to use the algorithm in just a matter of one line of code, and then we are going to see the result. So whether you know the math of this algorithm or you don't know, you are still getting the result. Definitely is good to know. But if you are someone who wants just to consume, or want to speed up the process of building the model and use it on your data, then it's all right. You don't have to know all of these complex things. But if you are a developer, you want to develop the algorithm, you want to improve the efficiency of the code or the algorithm, then definitely you have to know all of those math and statistics behind it. And the process of building a predictive model, what phase involves cleaning the data set? So majority agree it is data wrangling, which is yes, exactly, it is a data wrangling. Modeling, it is something after the exploratory data analysis, which is itself after data wrangling. And then the data exploration, this is the early stage. We are going to explore the data together today. And then data understanding, yes, data understanding and data exploration, they might be together. But they are before the data wrangling. When it comes to data wrangling, sometimes we call it data wrangling, data massaging, data cleaning, data processing, data pre-processing, all of those terms in a way doing the same things. Okay, what is the purpose of feature engineering in machine learning? 79% of you, 31 of you agree that it is about creating new features to improve model performance, which is yes. Removing features from a data set, it is considered as a part of the feature engineering, but mainly it is about creating new features, analyzing existing features, yes. Ignoring features during model training, this is something most likely to feature selection than feature engineering. Some of the books, they say, okay, feature selection is considered as a part of the feature engineering, which is okay, all right. That's the most important thing to understand the steps. Have you used cloud services like Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, IBM, Alibaba, Oracle? And not only those, we have in the market now, we have Tencent, we have DigitalOcean, we have a lot of other cloud, Adobe cloud services, and we might have a new cloud services coming to the market soon. Majority of you, yes, some of them. I have no idea to what extent you have used those cloud services, if you are using them for storage, for archiving data, then it's fine. Everyone, I think, nowadays using the cloud. For those who are Apple users, then they are using iCloud. For those who are Android users or Windows users, they are using Google Drive, OneDrive, maybe Dropbox, maybe others. To use those cloud services to archive data, it is the most common usage currently by most of the people. But to use it to process the data, to build dashboards, to build AI models, to monitor the models, to improve the accuracy, to do other things, to use the compute and the cloud services, this is something we have to be aware of, or this is something that we have to start learning or to start working on it. Cloud services is not only for archiving data. We can archive the data, we can analyze the data, we can build the machine learning model, we can improve the accuracy of the model, we can monitor the performance of the model, and we can deploy it. So like everything we can do on the cloud. So our computer machine, our device, our laptop or our desktop, it is only a device to get us connected to the cloud. So we don't have to do anything locally. The question is why? Why we are doing it on the cloud? It is because we cannot handle that huge amount of data in our local machine. Even for those companies that they build their own servers to archive the data, to process the data, and to do whatever they need to do related to their own data, they are going to reach a level which is the cost of maintaining that server, upgrading that server is going to be way higher than using the cloud. So that's why you can see a lot of companies, after a while, they are going to move to use the cloud service. And some of them, they move to use more than one cloud services, to be like one the main use, other one is the backup. Can you imagine even banks? Also, they are using the cloud services currently. It's not only here in Malaysia, it's worldwide. So the question is the privacy. So this is something maybe we can talk about, we can discuss later on. Maybe you can share also your own experience for those especially that they use them. All right, are you aware of the generative AI tools? Fantastic. Yes, some of them. If you're aware of the generative AI tool, this is perfect. If you are not aware of them, then first of all, generative AI tools, like what I mentioned earlier, it is like ChatGPT, we call it one of the generative AI tool. Gemini, one of the generative AI tool. Same goes to DeepSeek, Claude, Midjourney, whatever you name it. Maybe you are using some other tools because you need them for work or you need them for other purposes. Like for me, I'm using the generative AI tool for content writing. I'm using them for coding. I'm using them for design. Maybe others going to use other tool for video, for generating audio, for generating maybe idea, for other things. And it's quite also subjective. Like everyone will be familiar with the ChatGPT. Okay, I want to use ChatGPT. I don't want to use others, even if other tools are better, because I just used to it. I'm quite comfortable with this kind of generative AI tool like ChatGPT, and especially when it comes to the ChatGPT, because it is the earliest one. It is the first one. It was the first one. Yeah. So yes, those generative AI tools, we are going to talk about them in a general way and in the purpose of using them for AI. So please try to, for those who are not aware of the generative AI tool, I think this is the time that I don't want to say must, but I just want to say, please try to start using those tools, because AI going to replace people who are not using AI. This is as simple as this. AI will never replace you as long as you are using AI. AI might make your job obsolete if you are not using AI for your job. All right. So do you use other generative AI tool for work? Yes, some of them are quite interesting. Maybe we can discuss this by the end of today, like what other generative AI tool you are using for, especially for work. You don't have to mention what kind of work you are using or what is the work. This is your own privacy, but just share with us the tools. Maybe we are going to find something new. Do you think artificial intelligence is taking over lots of jobs currently? Yes, those who are not using AI. Yes, fantastic, perfect. This is what I mentioned. What I mentioned just now. So we have, surprisingly, we have a 28 of you, 11 people. Yes, taking lots of jobs currently, which is 100%. I agree. Can you imagine in Malaysia? And this is, I'm going to show you later on, based on the statistics by, I forgot the office name. Later on, I will show you the slide. It was reported that in the coming maybe 2 to 3 years, by 2028, I believe, AI is going to make 600,000, all right, is going to make 600,000, yes, 600,000 jobs title to be obsolete only in Malaysia. 600,000. You imagine 600,000 jobs going to be taken over by AI in the coming few years in Malaysia. All right. It's quite, is it scary? I leave it to you. But at the same time, the AI technology generating more job opportunities. I'm going to share with you the number of generating new job opportunities later on when we go through that slide. Okay, so AI is creating more job opportunities. Yes, I agree. And then we have one, I believe, yes, one taking over job by creating new kind of jobs. Yes. All right, perfect. Thank you so much for the response. It's very good to understand your thinking, to understand your background, to understand like how far you are in this field. So in general, we are going to go through the AI technology and whatever is related. We are going to try to be as simple as possible. We are going to be as fresh as possible for the benefit of everyone. For those who are quite in this field, please bear with us. I'm sure you are going to learn new things as well. But for those who are very fresh, then they are going to understand the basics, the fundamentals, and then it's going to be your own decision later on what to do with AI or how to use AI for your own good, either for work, for entertainment, for traveling, or maybe for business. All right. So back to the slides. So we are going to start with the introduction to artificial intelligence. Please feel free to ask questions at any time. You don't have to wait for me to finish the slide or to finish the part or to wait for the break to ask questions. You can ask questions at any time. You can stop me at any time for asking questions. I might be not able to see the chat. I will try to check from time to time, but just in case if I miss to see the chat, then please try to unmute your mic and then share with me or ask questions. All right. And then we are going to have the break maybe by 10:30 or 10:45. We are going to have our break for 15 minutes. Then we are going to continue with the second part of today. Most likely is going to be the demo for using the codes. All right. So to start with the artificial intelligence, to start with understanding the artificial intelligence, we have to talk about the big data. And this is what I mentioned while we were discussing the questions. Big data, it has no definite definition. If you read the books that related to big data, if you read about big data for the blogs and the blogs of vlogs, other maybe trainer courses, I don't think we have definite definition about the big data, but in general, big data, it means the data that it is continuously generating either by us as individuals or by private sector and government sectors. And due to the huge amount of data that continuously generating, we need to find a way to ingest the data. We need to find a way to collect the data. We need to find a way to archive the data. We need to find technologies to analyze the data, to clean the data first, and then to analyze the data, and then to get insights from the analysis of that particular data, and to see how we can turn those insights into a value. All right. And value, it could be money, could be making a profit. Companies, they are using the technology of the big data for making more profit, for improving the sales, for making, solutions, new findings, recommendations, and so on. And at the same time, the value that we can get from the data can be a better education system, can be better security system, can be better healthcare system to the country. So that's why governments worldwide currently, they are using the technology of the big data, the technology of AI to improve the infrastructure of the country. Or I would say governments, they cannot improve the infrastructure of the country without using this technology. I'm not talking about the big data and AI only, definitely other technologies like security, blockchain, cloud computing, networking, definitely those technologies also involved. But we are in this field, and then this is the right time, or this is the time that everyone must use this technology. All right. So when we talk about the big data, it means we have to understand the facts of the big data. If we are going to have those facts, then it means the data that we are dealing with, it is going to be considered as a big data. And then the question is, all right, the data that I'm dealing with, it is a big data. So what? What should I do next? This is what I'm going to answer after explaining to you those facts of the big data. So when we talk about the big data, we have to talk about the facts of the big data, or they call it the V's of the big data. Why do they call it the V's of the big data? Because all of them, all of those facts, they start with the letter V. Okay. Most of the companies, most of the high-tech company consider as the facts of the big data are those 3 V's. Some others, they might go for 5 V's, 4 V's, 6 V's, 10 V's. I saw, if you search online, I saw some of them, they consider the facts of the big data are 10 V's. I believe all of those other V's are the extension of those 3 V's. So what are those 3 V's about? The first one is the volume. The volume, it is about the amount of the data generated. If the amount of the data that you are dealing with, or the amount of the data that continuously generating that you are dealing with beyond the limitation of manual handling, or beyond your ability to handle that data by using the traditional tools like Excel sheet, then this is the first fact to consider the data that you are dealing with. It is a big data. All right. If we talk about ourselves as we as individual, we take ourselves as an example. If we think about 10 years back, if we want to buy a new mobile device, I think we are going to go for maybe 16 GB, maybe 32 GB 10 years ago. But now, if I want to buy a mobile device, I don't think I will go to something below 128 or 256. Maybe some of you, they are going to go for the 512 GB, right? Gigabyte. Nowadays, we can see like some of the mobile devices, they come with a 2 terabyte storage. So you can see why we are looking for or demanding for this kind of storage, because our data, we as individual, in terms of the size, in terms of the volume, it is way bigger than before. So what about the private sector and the government sector? So you imagine like how huge is the data. So this is the first fact to consider the data to be a big data. All right. The second one, it is velocity. Velocity, Okay, we are talking about the volume, that big size of the data or that data that continuously generating. So velocity is about the speed. So how fast that big amount of data continuously increase or continuously generating. So the data increasing like from 1 GB to 2 GB and how much time? How many minutes? How many days? How many hours? How many months? So if the data keep increasing in a very short time, in a very high speed, then this is the second fact or the second V to consider the data that you are dealing with is a big data. And then the third one, it is the variety. If you are dealing with the data that it comes into different formats, or I would say data, it comes into structured and unstructured. You may ask, what is the structured data? What is the unstructured data? Structured data, it is considered as the data that every one of us dealing with from time to time, which is the data that we can read by the Excel sheet, which is the data that it comes into rows and columns. The unstructured data, it means the data that we are also dealing with, but not by the Excel sheet. The data that we have in our devices. We have videos, we have images, we have PDFs, we have Word, we have maybe other formats related to what we do, related to the machines that we deal with. Manufacturers, they have their own format of the data. Architectures, they have their own format of the data. Medical doctors, they have their own format of the data. Designers, they have their own format of the data. Coders, they have their own format, and so on. All right? So these are the three V's of the big data. Other V's could be something related to the volume, related to the value. Definitely, it is all about getting a value from the big data. Some they talk about the veracity, which is the quality of the data. Maybe you search online later on, you are going to look at other V's, but these are the main V's, and I believe the rest is going to be the extension of those V's. So to answer the question, all right, the data that I'm dealing with, it comes with these three V's. So what should I do next? In simple, it means the data that you have, it has very good insights. It has a lot of value to get from, but you cannot handle this data with the traditional tools. You cannot handle this data by using Excel sheet. You cannot handle this data by using, but manually, definitely manually, you cannot handle it. And you cannot handle this data by the other traditional tools. You need to move to use either, if you are not into coding, then you need to use those softwares to handle this data, those softwares mainly for the big data. Like one of them, it is Power BI or Tableau. All right. Or maybe those dedicated softwares, built softwares to work with the big data, to handle the big data. All right. And then if you are into coding, or if you are interested to get more insights from the data, then you have to start using computer programming language to work on the data. You need to do data wrangling, you need to do exploratory data analysis, you need to use machine learning or deep learning algorithms to work on the data. You need to build models because you are going to be able to get lots of values. You are going to make more money. You are going to do better services, and whatever is the purpose to work on that data, you are going to be able to do it once you are really dealing with the big data. All right. So how to know you are dealing with the big data? It is by looking at those V's. At the same time, the practical part, any data that you cannot handle it, or you can, if the data is structured data, if the data, it comes into rows and columns. If the data that comes into rows and columns, you cannot handle it by the Excel sheet beyond the limitation of the Excel sheet. It means the number of the rows and the number of the columns more than those two numbers, which is 1,048,000 plus rows and more than 16,300 plus columns, which is the limitation, the current limitation of the Excel sheet, then the data, it is considered as a big data. Then you need to use other tools to handle such a data. I think if you are or not if you are, definitely you are, or maybe you are going to be dealing with this amount of the data. If you are dealing with bigger number of rows and columns, then definitely, because now we are living in the era of the big data, then you have to use AI. And if you are not reaching this number, but believe me, soon or later, you are going to deal with this huge amount of data. Then you need to find your own way to handle such a data. It is not a must-use coding, must-use data wrangling and exploratory data analysis or machine learning algorithms. Definitely, there are those tools, there are those softwares that you can work on the data and you can handle the big data, but not the traditional tools. So the question is, AI, why AI involved? Why AI on demand? While AI is since 50s, it's been almost 80 years, all right? Why AI now? AI is not a new technology. And for your information, with this huge demand on AI, with this huge development also of AI, with this like noise of using AI, today we are also talking about AI. We are together sitting talking about AI. We still didn't reach the real AI yet. We still didn't reach AI that can learn by itself like how a human. All right. So two answers, two questions to be answered. The first one, it is why AI now? It is as simple as this. It is all because of the automation. Why do we need the automation? We need the automation because we have this huge amount of the data because of the big data. So this is the first interconnection between the big data and artificial intelligence. So whatever we are using AI for currently, we used to do it manually. But due to the huge amount of the data, we cannot do these things manually. Then we are asking AI to automatically doing the manual thing. Like, for example, banks. Before, when you apply for a loan, used to be handled, first of all, manually by documents. Second, by a human interaction. So bosses, people in charge, they are going to look at your documents, they are going to look at the requirements, and they are going to get the loan either approved or rejected manually. Everything is manually and everything by human. Currently, banks, they are using AI to automate the process of either getting the loan rejected or approved. Why? Because of the huge amount of data that they have. So they want to automate the process. All right. Analysis. Companies, they always look at the testimonials. They always look at the customer feedback. So whatever feedback is going to be treated in the right way. Negative feedback is going to be treated. Why? The positive feedback is going to be treated by maybe a reward. But currently, feedbacks, testimonials, it's quite difficult to be, it's not difficult, it's almost impossible to be treated manually. So we are using AI model to analyze the feedback, to look at each feedback, which one is positive, which one is negative. The negative, why it is negative, what is the reason we have a negative feedback, and so on, by using AI. So why AI now? It is because of the development of the big data, or it is because of the big data, because of the huge amount of the big data. We are using AI for automation, which is one of the results of the digital transformation. We have this huge amount of data, everything become digital. All right. So we need AI to understand things. We need AI to understand what is going on, and we need AI to understand data, like how a human can understand the data. All right. Try to make sure that your mic is muted. All right. So back to AI. We have IR, Linear. Could you please mute your mic? I couldn't do so on my side. Anyway, sorry about that. Okay, so artificial intelligence for automation, then we need to make AI understand things like how a human understand those things. So when it comes to the AI, we should talk about the AI domains. When it comes to the AI domains, you are going to find online lots of domains, because AI for finance is a domain, AI for healthcare is a domain, AI for insurance is a domain, AI for education is a domain, and so on. Yes, but AI, it is about the data that you are dealing with. So what kind of data and how to understand the data. So when it comes to the AI, we are using machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, those statistical tools, or I would say statistical algorithms. Under each one, going to be a lot of statistical algorithms to deal with the data, to understand the data, to get insights from the data. But we need to make the data in a way to be understood by those statistical algorithms. And as long as I say the statistical algorithms, so any statistical algorithm deals with numbers, right? They cannot deal with images like how we deal with images. They cannot deal with the language like how we deal with the language. They cannot deal with the voice or the sound like how we deal with the sound. They cannot deal with the physical movement like how we deal with the physical movement. All right, so here it comes, the natural language processing, computer vision, robotic, and LLM. So why do we need natural language processing, or what is natural language processing about? Natural language processing, it is the technology. I'm not going to go into the technical part. I just want you to understand what is this about. If you are interested in natural language processing, later on you can join us for the technical courses. Natural language processing, it is the method of bridging the gap between a human, how do they understand language, either the spoken language by the voice or the written language, which is the text. Okay, so to convert spoken language and text language to numbers, and those numbers are going to be understood by the machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI algorithms. So natural language processing, or they call it NLP, it is about to make the computer machine understand the human language, whatever voice, text, and whatever language. Some of the application is the speech recognition. Now we are using, even with the ChatGPT, we can talk to ChatGPT and ChatGPT is going to answer us. We are using a lot of voice recognition services like Siri, Cortana, Alexa. At the same time, we are using the text analysis. This is what I mentioned just now. Companies, they want to analyze their testimonials or their feedback. And you are using it for generation. What does it mean, generation? We are using NLP technology to generate a like language, not only to analyze the language, to generate a like language. So that's why we have all of those generative AI tools currently. They are generating for us paragraphs, pages, books. I have some of people from universities now, they are using generative AI tools for them to write their own books. All right, so can be analysis, can be recognition, can be generating, can be whatever related to the text or the spoken language. So this is what a human doing in everyday routine. What else? Computer vision. We as a human understand things based on what we see. We do things based on what we see. We drive based on the vision. We act based on the vision. We exercise based on the vision. We work based on the vision. So computer vision, it is another technology, or it is another method to bridge the gap between the human understanding to the vision or graphics to the computer understanding, computer machine understanding to the vision and the graphics by converting them into numbers. Whatever human doing, you just imagine this. I need to find a way to convert it to a number. All right, and then those numbers are going to be understood by the machine learning, by the statistical algorithms, whatever machine learning, deep learning, generative AI, AGI, ASI is going to be always like that. So the action, whatever human doing, should be converted to numbers. How to be converted to numbers? This one is another technical course we can look at. All right, will be a lot of tools. So based on those numbers, the algorithm is going to be understand things, and then going to generate or going to analyze based on the numbers, and then it's going to be decoded, and then going to be the either image or text or whatever. All right. So when it comes to the computer vision applications is facial recognition. I think all of us currently in our device, in our mobile device, personal device, we can unlock the device by using the facial, right, by using our face. So this is a part of computer vision. We can also use it to generate images. ChatGPT generating images, DeepSeek generating images, Claude, Gemini, Copilot generating images. DeepSeek, I think not yet, generating images. So it is about image generation, image recognition, image classification, and so on. And then we have the robotic. Robotic is considered as the combination of all with the hardware, with the IoT. So we are going to have a device which is going to be look like a human, act like a human, talk like a human, move like a human, understanding things like a human. And this is what Industry Revolution 5.0 about, which is to have all of those AI devices to work alongside with the human to make a human more efficient, to make a human more precise, and to speed up the process of working on the doing the daily routine. Okay, I think you have noticed the robotic. Some of the restaurants currently in Malaysia, when you go to the restaurant, so the robot going to take the order, the robot going to serve you the food. All right, and then the very recent, I would say, domain of the AI, it is the LLM, large language model, which is the upgraded version of the natural language processing. Natural language processing dealing with the big data, and the big data is what? The big data of text, the big data of voice. LLM dealing with bigger amount of the big data, with a really huge amount of text data. And when it comes to the LLM, and when it comes especially to generative AI tool, I just want to share with you this. All of those tools, we are using them with the text. Okay, you are using a tool to generate images, but you are going to write for them how to generate the image. We call it a prompt. So you are going to write something to generate an image. You want to generate a code. You are going to write, it's all text. You are going to ask to generate a text. You want to generate a text. You are going to use a text as well. All right. You can use other languages. You can use Bahasa. You can use Urdu. You can use Mandarin. You can use Arabic. You can use English. And then all about using text. So this is the LLM. These are the main domains of the artificial intelligence, if you ask me. So let's take one example. So when it comes to, like, for example, if we are going to use artificial intelligence for finance. So what is the data that we are going to deal? We are going to deal with the data, which is text data, that text data related to the customers. So information of the customer, the bank account, the address, the email, phone number, in and out, transactions, and so on, text data. So this is going to be under natural language processing. All right. For finance, now they are using this one, they call it bank of things. And instead of Internet of Things, is a bank of things, which is okay. Someone will call you from Maybank, ask you to invest in something. You think it's a human, but it's not a human, it's an artificial intelligence. So this is what this is using, the still natural language processing, which is using the voice. Okay, if we are in finance, if we are going to analyze anything which is vision, it's going to be computer vision. So whatever field or whatever industry you name it, is going to be about, okay, what kind of data you want the AI to deal with. Definitely it's going to fall under one of those. So that's why we say these are the main domains. Yes, others, we say AI for finance is a domain because we are using AI for finance. AI for healthcare is a domain because we are using AI for for healthcare, which is mainly healthcare using dealing with the images, which is computer vision. All right. So this is how to use and how to deal with the AI and to understand the domain of AI. Okay, let's move to the interesting part, how interconnected they are. Now, AI with the big data and whatever AI, other technologies is under AI. So machine learning, it is considered as a sorry? Hello? Sorry, that's the question. Yes. Okay, so machine learning, it is considered as a subset of artificial intelligence. Deep learning, DL, it is a subset of machine learning. Generative AI, it is considered as using the deep learning technologies. So let's look at them. Artificial intelligence, it is from 50s. Artificial intelligence, it is about mimic the human intelligence by instructing the computer machine. How to instruct the computer machine? It is by using the computer programming language. The first application of artificial intelligence, it was the calculator. So if you ask me 10 multiplied by 5, what is the result? I'm going to say, okay, it's 50 because I was taught, right? I learned. Then how to make the computer machine giving you the same answer? I'm going to instruct by using the computer, by using computer programming language. If 10 multiplied by 5, then give the answer 50. All right. So it was completely coding. Machine learning, which is the thing that we started in the 80s up to now, we are still using machine learning. It is about less coding, more learning. Why? Because since 80s, we started to collect data. We started to deal with the data. So we can use one code, and that code is going to be repeated. It is a repetitive code to learn from the data and then to apply the learning on the new coming data. All right. So this is the machine learning. And then we move to deep learning. Deep learning, it is considered as a subset of the machine learning, while machine learning is a subset of the AI. Deep learning, we are still learning from the data and apply the learning on the new coming data. We are learning from known data, and then we apply the learning on the unknown data. Right? So I have a huge amount of images of fruits, and all of those images of fruits are labeled with the right name of the fruit. Then machine learning is going to learn from those images and the labels, and then going to automatically label the new coming images of a fruit without labels. Right? Deep learning, it is doing the same thing. So you may ask, so why do we need deep learning then? Because deep learning, it is going to deal with more complex data than machine learning can deal with bigger amount of data that machine learning can deal with different strategy than machine learning can deal with. So that's why we have deep learning. Deep learning, it's about using the artificial neural network algorithm, which is the algorithm that it was influenced by the human brain, by the neuron in the human brain. It works in a way like how the neuron in the human brain. We don't want to go for the technical. Today is understanding those technology. I don't want to get you confused. I don't want to make things difficult. I want to make things friendly, easy to understand. Then if you are interested, you can join us later on for whatever you think you need or you think you want or you are interested in. And then generative AI. Generative AI, it is using the artificial neural network, which is using the deep learning in more complex way to learn from bigger, much bigger amount of data to generate alike data. Machine learning, deep learning, about learning to apply the learning. Generative AI, it is about learning to generate alike data. And simple, this is the difference. Machine learning and deep learning, they learn from the data to apply the learning on the new coming data. Generative AI is about learning from the data to generate alike data. All right. So as long as our topic today about building a predictive model, and this is what we are going to do later on by the practical of today. So we are going to talk about the machine learning. And then talking about the machine learning, we should talk about the types of the machine learning. And talking about the types of the machine learning, you will find that every one of us, and every day, we are using machine learning without notice. Okay? The first one, supervised learning, this type of the machine learning. What is this type about? This type about building a predictive model. What to predict? We can predict two things. We can predict the label of the data. We have data without labels. We can predict the label of the data. And we can predict also a number, a value. What are the applications? I mentioned that every one of us using all of those types of the machine learning. What kind of applications we are using? All right, for those who into cryptocurrency or stock market, definitely you are having those mobile apps that they are going to help you to know what to buy, where to buy, when to sell, when to stop. So those, they are going to predict for you the number, the price, the profit. So this is about the prediction. All of us using email. We always receive those spam or junk emails. So they are using supervised learning classification, which is going to classify the new coming email, whether it is a spam or ham, the label of the email. If the spam email, then it's going to directly and automatically to the spam folder. If normal email or ham email, then you are going to get it. Google currently, they classify emails also, whether they are normal emails, promotions, social media, and others. These are labels. Another one, very simple. You are traveling next week. Definitely, you are going to check the weather in that area. Okay. The weather app, checking the weather like, okay, next Monday in Johor, I'm going to Johor for a meeting. Next Monday morning, what is going to be the weather? The weather is going to use, the weather app is going to use supervised learning to predict two things. To predict the label, is it raining or not? Cloudy, hot, cold, label. And then going to predict for you also the temperature, like the temperature is going to be, okay, 32 at 10 o'clock. This is the number. So two things by using the supervised learning and many other applications, not only those. Okay. Second, unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning dealing, okay, supervised learning, we should deal with the data which is predefined. The data is supposed to be known data. So the algorithm can learn from the predefined data, can learn from historical data, can learn from well-known labeled data. So they apply the learning on the new coming data. Or to predict what is going to be done next. So unsupervised learning, dealing with the data which is unknown data. The main idea of using unsupervised learning, it is to divide the data into smaller groups. We call them clusters. And then those data, they are together, they are close to each other. Why? Because they share the same similarity, or because they share the same features. One of the applications, every company, they are using customer segmentation. Any company, they are either having a product to sell, or they are having a product services to provide. So they want to improve their marketing campaign. So they are going to cluster the customer, or they are going to segment the customer into right segment, and then they are going to build the marketing campaign based on the customer segmentation to target the right customer. All right. Even when we are going to get those advertisements, you're going to get advertisements on Facebook, you're going to get advertisements on Instagram, on TikTok, on any other social media. Why? Because you were segmented to that ad, to that advertisement. That's why the advertisements that I see totally different than the advertisement that you see. And that's why customer segmentation and supervised learning, it is one of every company using currently. Third one, self-supervised learning. Self-supervised learning, it is a model to learn from the data and to fix the broken data, or to learn from the data to get labeled from that data. Like, for example, I'm going to use supervised learning to work on my profile. Okay, my name is Obey, I'm trainer, I'm living in Kuala Lumpur, my field is AI. So from this simple profile, self-supervised learning is going to take some labels. Okay, Obey is living in, then it's going to be suggested Kuala Lumpur. Obey is trainer, his field is AI, and so on. Okay, and we have data. We have 1 million images of buildings. Some of those images in low resolution. Some of those images like comes with the noise. So this model is going to learn from those not broken images, clear images, high resolution images, and then to fix those broken images in terms of the resolution, in terms of the noise, in terms of the blurry. Semi-supervised learning, the fourth one. Semi-supervised learning, it is dealing with the huge amount of data with a very few labels. The main purpose is what? Is to label the whole data. All right. So it's taking the advantage of the supervised and unsupervised, those two. Semi-supervised, as long as we have a huge amount of data and very few of them are labeled, so we can use the unsupervised to cluster the data into clusters. All right. And in each cluster, as long as this data is a huge amount, very few in the labels. So in each cluster, we might have one of the data, it comes with the label. Then we can use that label to be label all the data in that cluster. Why? As long as they are in the same cluster, so they are sharing the same features. As long as one of them, it comes with the label, then all of them, they can take the same label. Resulted to have the whole data well labeled. And then the last one, it is the reinforcement learning, the most interesting one currently for every one of us. Yes, for every one of us. Don't tell me you are not interested in the self-driving car, or you are not interested in the EV cars. If you are not interested yet, yes, you are going to be interested in the future. Yeah, because technology is always enforced on us, whether we like it or we don't like it. You like the EV car, all right, then you're going to move to the EV car, or maybe you are using the EV car currently. You don't like the EV car, then later on you are going to like it. No choice. So reinforcement learning, it is about anything related to the auto path, anything related to a model is going to make a decision by itself, to learn from mistakes and to avoid doing those mistakes. So that's why we have those self-driving cars. That's why we have driving assistants. That's why we have a braking emergency. That's why we have all of those drones. They are very efficient. That's why also we're supposed to have the drone taxi. They call it the drone cab. In 2020, it was mentioned that by 2025, we are going to have the drone cab, which is, yeah, it means the drone taxi. In some countries, they are using the drone to deliver goods. You order something from Amazon, the drone coming to deliver it to you. You order something from maybe, I don't know, eBay. I'm not sure about Asia. I think in China, yes. But you can see using the drone to deliver things. All right, so those are just a quick understanding about those types. I am sure if you think carefully, or if you like imagine what you do from morning until night, you are going to see all of those types. You are using them in a way, but you are not aware. So you can see like how important is AI. So that's why they say AI is the new electricity. Why they call AI is the new electricity? Because we cannot live without electricity, right? Same goes to AI. We cannot, from now onwards, we cannot live without using AI. All right, so this is a machine learning. And then what about deep learning? Deep learning, they can do also the same things. You can use deep learning for the supervised. You can use deep learning for unsupervised, semi-supervised, self-supervised, and reinforcement. So what are the differences then between machine learning and deep learning, as long as I'm going to use deep learning for the same things? It seems machine learning taking care of everything. So why do I need to use deep learning? Here are the differences in terms of the machine learning and deep learning. Just a quick one. Both of them under AI, but deep learning under machine learning. Why? Because deep learning, it is about one of the machine learning algorithms, which is artificial neural network. It was developed to handle more complex data, bigger amount of data, and making more complex decisions and solutions. That's why machine learning, in comparison with the deep learning, it deals with smaller amount of the data compared to the data that normally deep learning deal with, but both of them under the big data. But how big is the amount of the data? Always deep learning deal with the bigger amount of data than machine learning can deal with. Machine learning, you need to do feature extraction. You need to get features from the data manually. Sometimes the result of the model can be affected, or it is always affected if you are not doing the right features, if you're not extracting the right features. When it comes to the deep learning, we don't have to worry about the feature extraction because deep learning able to extract the right features by itself due to the mathematical complexity of this algorithm. Then it's going to find out which feature is good and which feature is weak to be neglected. Machine learning needs only CPU. Deep learning always needs the GPUs and the TPUs. So here it comes the question mark. Deep learning is expensive. Yes, you are going to use more computing. The biggest challenge of any AI model, especially when it comes to GenAI, generative AI, by every company now is the computing. Computing, it means a lot of money companies, they have to pay for. So using machine learning is going to be always better, cheaper. But you have to decide when to use machine learning, when to use deep learning. Sometimes, this one, I'm sharing with you my experience as consultant and as providing services. When it comes to companies, especially for the first time using AI, we are going to use both machine learning and deep learning. Sometimes we are going to find machine learning providing better results than deep learning. While deep learning, we said it is better accuracy, complex data, blah, blah, blah. Deep learning is quite promising in terms of the result. But if the data is really huge, if the data is not really huge, then this algorithm is not going to be able to get good insights to provide you good results. So here it comes machine learning, which is going to be the gut saver, right? Cheaper, faster, and getting the results. Other times, only deep learning going to provide good results over machine learning. So it means company, they have really huge amount of data, then they need to move to use deep learning. Then we need to do optimization of the computing. We need to do a lot of things to reduce the cost. So it's not always about using deep learning, maybe using machine learning. And the most common one currently for companies, we are not talking about Apple or Facebook or Microsoft. We are talking about normal companies. They are not the giant internet data companies. All right. So definitely machine learning is faster. Deep learning can take hours, it can take years, sorry. If you have heard about the deep face, it was developed as a model. It's a technology. It was developed by Facebook. It took for Facebook 2 years to get the good result. DeepMind, it was developed by Google. It took more than, I think, 2 years to get good results. So you can see it takes longer. Machine learning works, definitely it works with a simpler task. interpretable results. Deep learning work with more complex tasks, and the results might be not interpretable when you are going to get them. And these are the algorithms. These are algorithms. This is some technical. Don't want to go that deep into technical today, except later on the coding. To share with you what is in the market, what is in demand worldwide, the demand is on supervised learning, predictive models. We need to build models that they can predict what is the new coming data about, or what is going to be the future like. I put those in circles. We have talked about all of them, right? I put them in these circles, the size of the circle, to show you the demand currently in the market. All right? So the demand on the supervised. In fact, we are using others to improve the supervised learning, to improve the predictive models. Building a predictive model, then is a time to get the labeled data, to get the known data, and then to start building a model, training the model, improving, tuning, getting good results. Once the results are going to be good, then we are going to deploy the model. We are going to use it on the new coming data. We are going to do these things today in terms of the practical, as simple as possible, because I want every one of you to understand not only the theory part of today, also the practical part of the today in a friendly way. But it's going to be the real case. It's going to be something real what we do in the market, but it is the initial part. So to build the good understanding, to build the fundamentals, and to build the basics. Example. I think every single company in the market currently, they need to look at the feedback of the customer. You imagine this is a bank and coming with these feedbacks, some of the feedbacks. The feedbacks in thousands or in millions. Some of those feedbacks, and then this is the label of the feedbacks. This one, we call it labeled data, or well-known data, or predefined data. So this feedback, this is the sentiment label, or this is the class of this feedback, or the label of this feedback. This is positive, this is negative, this is positive, this is neutral, and then so on. So the machine learning or deep learning model is going to learn from those feedbacks and their labels. So the next feedbacks definitely is going to be without label. By learning from this labeled data, then the model is going to be able to label the new coming feedback. So we are going to automate the process of labeling the feedbacks. This is for the company on good, for the bank on good. They want to see how many positive, how many negative. When it comes to the negative, why there's a negative. So, okay, this one is negative. I'm extremely frustrated with the delay in processing my loan. Oh, okay, the problem is what is a delay? So the bank going to start working on, okay, need to speed up the process using AI, right? And so on. So this is how important using AI, how important is using AI for the automation, all right? So just before we take our break, just a quick one about the generative AI. So now we are moving from AI, machine learning, deep learning, to generative AI. Generative AI, it is the era of this decade. Every decade, we are going to have a new technology, not only in AI, in other technologies as well. But in every decade, we are going to have a new major upgrade. So generative AI, it is the revolution of AI for this decade, 2022 to 2023. Okay, so you can see now in this era, generative AI, and you can see with more data, more time, better performance. We started from simple AI to machine learning to deep learning, and currently generative AI. We still didn't move to 5G yet. Worldwide, countries didn't move completely to 5G. And we have this huge amount of data. You imagine moving to the 5G completely, or maybe I should say 6G. China started the 6G, right? You can see how well developed China, or how far is China from us. in better way. All right. So you imagine moving to the 5G or to the 6G, imagine the amount of the data. The amount of the data is going not to continuously increasing, it's going to exponentially increasing. So you imagine then the demand and the revolution of the AI. Currently, we're on generative AI. So generative AI shifting from learning from data to data generation. Simple example. In any AI, in any company also, or most of the companies, they work on predicting customer churn. What does it mean, customer churn? Customers, they are using the company services, or customers buying the company products. So company, they want to see whether this customer is going to stop or is going to continue. We call it customer churn. Netflix, they want to see what is the customer churn rate for 2025. How many percent? How many customers they are going to unsubscribe? So they can predict, they can use a predictive model, and then they can see what is going to be the rate, and then they can see, okay, why? Then they're going to fix it. Generative AI, they can generate materials to make the customers, or suggestions to make the customers continue, or suggestions for the company to do it, to make the company, to make the customers continue with the service or continue with buying the products. At the same time, generative AI tools, they can also generate more scenarios of the customer churn for the benefit of building better predictive model or more accurate predictive model. So you can see how good is using generative AI. Generative AI, it is about learning from the huge amount of data to generate alike data. All right, I'm going to go to it, and I will show you. By using ChatGPT, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to create for me an image of KLCC during the sunrise while people are walking and the traffic is heavy. So you can see, you will see that ChatGPT going to generate for me such an image. So how ChatGPT was able to generate such an image? ChatGPT is one of the generative AI tools. ChatGPT was learning from the huge amount of the KLCC images and the highways and the people, and then whatever beside KLCC during the sunrise, the sunset, afternoon, evening, whatever. Then after that learning, going to be able to generate something based on my prompt, based on my request. All right. So this is about generative AI. We are going to talk a little bit about generative AI after the break, and then we will move to AGI, ASI, and then our practical. Okay, we stop for the break. Any questions so far? All right, if no questions, then we take 15 minutes break, then we continue after the break. So we need to use both component traditional AI and Gen AI to resolve the problem. Yes, sometimes we need to use both. Exactly. So that was about the generative AI. We understood everything is because of the big data. This is what I want to say. I believe it is because of the big data, we have this huge demand on AI. And because of the big data, there is also this huge revolution in the field of AI. So that's why I always say that big data, it is considered as the umbrella of all. Because of the big data, we are also sitting together today, talking about the technology of AI, building a model, and thinking about what is going to be the future of AI. So what is going to be the future of AI? Currently, this decade, it is about the generative AI. So what is going to be the next decade, the decade after? I already mentioned that every decade it comes with a technology. So what is going to be the technology of the next decade then? It is about the movement from generative AI to AGI, artificial general intelligence, which is going to be the next revolution, or it is going to be, is it next? Yes, it is about the revolution, the new revolution, or the next revolution of the generative, of the AI, which is after using the generative AI. AGI stands for Artificial General Intelligence. And then after the Artificial General Intelligence, is going to be the ASI, the artificial super intelligence. Artificial general intelligence is going to take at least 1 decade. Artificial super intelligence is going to take more than 2 decades. Some of people say it is up to 2060, 2050. It's going to take a long time. It needs much better, much faster, much more complex computing. We need faster connection. We need lots of things to work on to reach the AGI and the ASI. Some of the applications currently, they put the first feet in the AGI. All right. If for those who use ChatGPT early those days, ChatGPT was mainly for sorry, it was mainly for the content writing. Currently, ChatGPT can be used for coding, can be used for content writing, can be used for generating images, can be used for entrepreneur, can be used for analysis, can be used for summarization, and many more things. AGI, it is about building a model, and that model is going to do multiple things, which is like how a human doing multiple things. For us, we can drive the car, we can cook, we can do coding, we can exercise, we can think, we can do lots of things in our daily routine. We can be graphic designer, we can be programmer, we can be architect, we can be engineer, can be medical doctor, can be a lawyer. So AGI, it is about building a model that is going to do multiple things. All right. ChatGPT, DeepSeek, others, they can do multiple things currently, but are they as equivalent as the human? Definitely not. But this is considered as the first step towards AGI. Is it AGI? Not yet, but just the first step towards AGI. Then you may ask, what is going to be then the ASI about? ASI, it believes it is going to be a model that is going to break through the current knowledge. So ASI in math might come with the new equations, new solutions, new results. ASI in science and biology might comes with a new kind of beliefs, with a new kind of, in physics, going to come with a new kind of methods. So it's going to break through everything to make things more efficient. When it comes to AGI and ASI, we said AGI, it is going to, we call it the theory of mind, the emotional AI, or some of them, they call it the AI that is going to simulate the human intelligence, which is the AI that is going to learn by itself, which is the AI that is going to be equivalent to the human intelligence. The AI is going to be as intelligent as a human. You think so? Or is already? And then ASI is going to be something to be more intelligent than human. Also, do you think so? AI is going to be more intelligent than human? And then the fact we are in the narrow artificial intelligence, talking about this era, talking about this, the real state of art of artificial intelligence, we are still in the narrow artificial intelligence, or we call it the weak artificial intelligence. Why? Because without data, without a predefined data, without the 100% human interaction, we are not going to be able to build any AI model. All right. So AI is going to be more intelligent than the human intelligence. We are going to discuss this by the end of today. Or you may think about it and share your thoughts in the chat. All right. So this is what you need to think about in the future is the AGI and ASI. This is a kind of motivation for you to show you and to prove that AI, it is about the current and the future. At least for the coming 5 decades, AI is going to be always on demand. And the demand on AI is going to also continuously increasing. Then Beside that, and this is what I found also currently in the market, which is like everyone talking about, it is AI agent and agentic AI. How to understand them in a simple way. AI agent, they do reactive prompt. Agentic AI, they do proactive prompt. So what does that mean? Okay, I'm going to ask ChatGPT, okay, find for me flight. What is the best flight to go to Singapore on 15th of June? So ChatGPT will find for me the airlines, the price, the time, and then maybe going to sort it based on the price, or going to based on time, based on the price, based on maybe the feedbacks of people on those airlines, going to give me those suggestions. All right. This one we call it reactive prompt. So whatever you ask, you are going to get the answer. A proactive prompt, whatever you ask, you are going to get the answer and whatever is related. So if I'm going to ask ChatGPT the same question, what is the best flight to travel to Singapore on 15th of June? So ChatGPT going to provide airlines, price, time, and then going to provide also hotels to stay, going to provide maybe a car to rent, going to provide a schedule to make, places to visit, food to try. If I'm going for a business trip, going to provide me maybe slides, creating for me slides about the topics that I'm going to present or to discuss with the people that I'm going to meet in Singapore. So you can see it's the answer and beyond. And all of us, we practice this. Now, if you ask ChatGPT any question, ChatGPT will go even more and going to ask you at the end, going to ask you, do you want me to continue to do this, to do that, whatever is related to your prompt. So this is the agentic AI, something for more reasoning. Agentic AI, a lot of current generative AI tool moved from AI agent to the agentic AI. And simple AI agent, it is any software or any service which is 100% based on artificial intelligence. Agentic AI, it is something to provide you service and whatever is beyond the service, which is related to the service that you are looking for. Okay. So this is in simple, what is AI agent and agentic AI? One of the benefits, let me share with you the benefit of agentic AI, my own finding about using agentic AI. I think I already mentioned to you that I use generative AI tools for coding. And usually those codes are not always correct codes. And those codes not always, I mean, the code provided by the generative AI tools, not always they are the right one. Not always they are the fastest one. They might come with the limitation. Agentic AI, when you ask about the code, agentic AI will generate the code, will test the code, will solve the issue of the code, will improve the efficiency of the code, and then they will come with the final product as the code. So agentic AI, it is way better in terms of using AI agent. And this is considered as the current development of the generative AI. So AI agent, agentic AI, it's under the generative AI. I talked about the prompt, right? And then as long as we are going to use a prompt for coding today, so just a quick one about the prompt or how to craft, crafting, we call it crafting effective prompts. When it comes to the prompt, you need to be specific, all right? And you need to be very direct to the point that you want, okay? And you need to mention the limit. Like for example, let's say for us, currently we are in the field of the artificial intelligence. So I always start my prompt with an instruction. Okay, act as data scientist, act as data analyst, act as data visualization professional, or whatever I want the generative AI tool. Okay, act as a programmer. So I want generative AI tool to build a model. So I'm going to, okay, act as a data scientist. Do this, do that. Okay, do data wrangling, do the exploratory data analysis, use machine learning, tune the machine learning, algorithm, improve the accuracy, deploy the model. You can see I'm very direct, very specific. Everything is about data science. At the same time, I can say, okay, build machine learning model. It's very generic, very blurry. All right. So you need to be expressive. You need to be direct. You need to also limit the result. Okay. Generate for me a paragraph talking about AGI and ASI. Or generate for me a topic about AGI and ASI, an article about AGI and ASI. I want it to be in two paragraphs, maximum 500 words. Introduction to AGI, the history of AGI, benefits of AGI, the real state of art of AGI, and then what is going to be the future of AGI. You can see I'm very specific. I'm very clear, focusing on one topic, and then I'm limiting the results, not just something general. Like, for example, you can see this. Okay, you write a report about on this topic. But when you say, all right, write about this topic, this is the climate change, and then include at least 3 credible sources and so on. This is going to analyze this data or analyze sales data, and this sheet identify the top 3, blah, blah, blah. You can see prompt is very important, and especially when it comes to this field. We have to talk about the prompt because we are going to use prompt. I'm going to share with you also exactly the prompt that I have used to build the model that I'm going to share with you today. All right. Okay, building machine learning model. Before we start building the machine learning model, then these are the steps for any machine learning model, and this is the business steps. When it comes to the business, we need to understand what is the problem. Mainly, what is the problem? All right. And most of the time, we used to solve the problem manually. Now we cannot solve the problem manually. So that's why we moved to use AI. And then analytic approach. So you are going to use machine learning. What type of the machine learning you are going to use? I already mentioned 5 types of the machine learning earlier. So which one? Are you going to build a predictive model? Are you going to cluster the data? Are you going to use self-supervised, semi-supervised, or reinforcement? So by upskilling yourself, you are going to be able to know which one to use. And then it's about getting the data understanding and the data collection. Normally, we don't spend that long time doing data requirements and data collection. Why? Because the data is available there. Maybe we are going to request more data. We are going to request more features. We are going to request more amount of the data, or we are going to combine whatever data is available. Data understanding, and this is what we call it, data exploration or data understanding. So we are going to read the data. We are going to use the coding to look at the data, to look at the features of the data. Features of the data, it means we are going to look at the columns of the data. The columns of the data, we call it the features of the data. All right? And then we are going to look at the features. We are going to look at the number of features. We are going to understand the features. Which feature is a numerical feature? Which feature is categorical feature? What are the issues of the data that we have? Maybe we have missing values. Maybe we have not missing values. Maybe we have data need to be normalized. We have duplicates. We have turn categorical to numerical. We have data that we need to get it to generate features based on other features. We need to delete features. And we need to maybe to look at the imbalance, and many other things. And then solving those issues is going to be during the data preparation. Under data preparation, we have data wrangling and exploratory data analysis. Data wrangling, it is about fixing all the issues, solving the issue of the missing value. solving the issue of normalization, solving the issues of the duplicates, removing data, balance the data, adding more data, creating more features, removing features, whatever is going to be during the data wrangling. Exploratory data analysis, it is about starting finding a relationship among the data. It is about using data visualization. Data visualization is considered as one of the very important topic when it comes to dealing with the data. We have a course which is about Power BI with AutoML. So that course, you don't need to use code, but it is all about analyzing the data in terms of the visualization and then using the AutoML, the auto machine learning. So it's AI with the Power BI, building a dashboard, building a model, looking at the live stream data, improvements, changes, and whatever related to the data. All right. And then if the data ready, if the data is clean, everything is ready to be used, then we move to the modeling. Modeling, it means we are going to use the machine learning algorithm that it was based on the type of the machine learning it was chosen during the analytic approach. Using the algorithm, evaluating the result, tuning the parameter of the algorithm for better results, and then changing the algorithm using different algorithm to see the performance, and we keep doing this try and error till we are going to come with the model which is going to be good to be used. If the model is trusted, or we say if the model, the threshold or the accuracy of the model is higher than the threshold that we have decided on, then we can deploy the model. Deploying the model, then it's going to work on the new coming data. Then we start getting feedback, and then you can see these steps are iterative steps. You can always go back and improve things. And simple, these are the steps that we use to build any model, especially when it comes to using AI for business. Involvement of AI. So as long as we are talking of AI in business, so AI to reshape Malaysia economic landscape. You can see the report from the Department of Statistics Malaysia, DOSM, estimates that 600,000 workers may lose their jobs over the course of the next 3 to 5 years as AI replace those jobs. But at the same time, you can see only this year, Microsoft, it is to upskill 800,000 Malaysians with AI by the end of 2025. Yes, so you can see 600,000 people losing their jobs, but only this year, 800,000 people upskill to use AI. So you can be one of them, you can upskill to use AI. All right, let me share with you this video, sorry.
In Malaysia specifically, the challenge we are seeing is we've got people who are working super hard to make.
Can you hear the sound from this video?
Meet, however, still not being able to afford a decent and dignified quality of life.
Shifting jobs from one job to another job, it's been upside down in my life.
In the Skills for Jobs program, we give people access to productivity tools so that they can make their time that much more valuable.
The most important skills that I learned in Microsoft Skills for Job program were in AI. I can learn from AI for my career advancement. Now, I'm working in the construction company as an administrator. They give me more salary than I expected. And on top of that, I've been chosen as a trainer for Microsoft. My interest is giving knowledge to other people.
AI is reducing the barriers for people to get new skills and navigate complex new jobs. This gives me a lot of hope knowing that AI can really give everyone the tools and tech to be their best version of themselves.
I'm better than myself yesterday or last week or last year. I'm more confident.
Okay, all right. So that was about how AI involved in the country here in Malaysia. Definitely AI is not only in Malaysia, the AI is everywhere, but just to share with you the current state of art of AI here. And then this is about how also another, I'm going to leave the links for you to check about how AI is going to involve. I think you have noticed also the National Artificial Intelligence Office, and this is the thing that in the criteria. And then I think AI is going to be the lead of the data-driven for the semiconductor in Malaysia, as Malaysia is well known for the semiconductor industry. All right, so this is AI, building a model, and then this is the state of art of AI, then moving towards building machine learning models by using generative AI tools. So before I start building the model, generative AI tools, how many generative AI tools are available currently? If you are going to count them, or you are going to count the generative AI tools that you are using, I am sure not more than 10 or maybe more, but do you think they are thousands? As long as we are going to share with you the slides, these tools going to help you to find the current generative AI tool available in the market. I'm going to look at the first one. This is the tool hunt. So, okay, maybe I share with you the link. You can look at the same time with me. Okay, just scroll down a bit. And you can see all of those, the generative AI tools currently available in the market. Browse 18,546 AI tools. We know ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Gemini, Claude, Midjourney, Adobe Firefly, GitHub Copilot. What else I use? Copilot. I used to use some just for fun, one for video. I forgot. I have I will show you. So it's like not more than 10, while there are 18,000 of them. So it is always good to figure out, and you can also search. You can search with AI. You want something for content writing. While this one is browsing, so let's look at something else. Let's look at the POE. This is one of the very interesting one to be used as well. POE. Show you here. POE is considered as the navigator of most of the generative AI tools currently in the market. All right, POE. So if you want to use ChatGPT, you can use it here. If you want to use other generative AI tool, you can use it here. So instead of going to the website of ChatGPT, you can write the prompt and use ChatGPT here. And instead of going to Gemini, you can use Gemini here. So this platform, it is like the navigator of whatever generative AI tools currently available. Then you can use it. You can use one platform, which is this one, to use others. And you can see when it comes to official ports. So this is like, those are the official ports. You can go through. There's a Claude, Gemini, DeepSeek, Llama, the one that by Facebook. And then at the same time, you can look at others. You can see, maybe you can look at something for game. Who is into games? Something for hobbies, something for audio and video. You can see all of those tools. You can go here. All right, so you can browse, scroll down, you will find a lot. Hobby, game, professional, funny, translation, game pod, AI pods, mind pods, feature, learning, utility, new pods, and so on. Many of them here. It's a very good navigator. And then at the same time, you can look at others. I'm going to leave it to you as long as we are going to share the slides with you. Then you can look at others. Those are the tools to keep you up to date. Okay. So there's a new tool, but you are not aware of a new tool unless like someone talk about it or someone post about it in social media. But those tools, they are going to keep you up to date. And those tools also, they are going to help you to find the right one for your own need. Definitely, you are not going to find always the free one. Now, those generative AI tools, companies, they are using them for business, right? But at the same time, you may find the free one. Those are the tools that normally I use. It could be totally different than the tools that you use. I use ChatGPT for multi-purpose. I use Claude. I use Gemini. Gemini is quite interesting recently. Gemini was almost to fed out, but a lot of development happened. Copilot is the only one which is integrated with the Word, with the PowerPoint, with the Excel. It is the only generative AI tool is currently integrated in those softwares. We call it Microsoft 356 Copilot. DALL-E, this is for image. Midjourney is for images. Stable Diffusion is for images. This one I use it before for a video just for the fun out of it. And then the Adobe Firefly, I'm also using it. All right, but this is a paid. Okay, nice. So the main steps for building machine learning model. What is the problem and the objective? Collect the data and understand the data. Clean and pre-process the data. Do the exploratory data analysis. Divide the data into training and testing for evaluation. Select the right features. Choose the machine learning algorithm. Train the model. Evaluate the model. Tune the model for better accuracy. Test and validate. Deploy, monitor, and maintain. These are the steps for anyone who wants to develop model. And for our technical courses, we follow each steps into detail. We also provide courses for those who they want to learn Python programming language. And I have something more interesting, which is how to build your own generative AI tool. Instead of using ChatGPT, instead of using any of those tools, you can build your own generative AI tool. We will discuss about it later on after we start building the first generative AI, the first machine learning model. Just a quick one, back to the question. Can use free through POE? Okay, POE is for free. POE is considered as navigator, all right? Navigator through all the generative AI tools. But if the generative AI tools, you are using it through POE, and that generative AI tool is a paid one, then you have to pay for the POE. POE is going to be considered as the middle person. So it is not a free, definitely. People, they want to make money, but you can use the POE to find those tools. Is it to develop our own generative AI tool? Yes. Let me share with you my own experience. For certain reasons, I used to transcript the audio voices, all right? And then I summarize the text. So I was using otter.ai, and I was paying for it. Otter.ai, it is one of the best to upload the audio file and then to get it transcripted. And then the transcript, you are going to use it to summarize it. You can use ChatGPT or whatever to summarize it. All right. Then during the free time, I was just searching for what about I just write some codes to to transcript audio file. Then I found one of the library available as open source, which is Whisper. Whisper, it was developed by OpenAI. So I was doing some simple coding, and then I built a model. That model, I can just have the audio file in the folder, in the path, and then I can run my model. It's going to be transcripted. And then after that, I copy the transcription and copy the text to ChatGPT to summarize it. Definitely, my model is not as sophisticated as ChatGPT. My model is not as sophisticated as Otter.ai. And I have to run the model every time I need to use it. But it's saved the purpose, save the cost, and then later on, I can develop this model, maybe can also summarize the text, can do maybe more things. I can also build a GUI, or I can deploy it in a way that I need to. I can also work on my own data. So I'm not going to share the audio file with the generative AI tool. Whatever you upload to generative AI tools, now they have the right to have your data and the pool of their data sets. So if you ask me, is it worth it? Yes, definitely it's worth it. Do you need it? Then you have to decide. Is it good to learn how to develop your own model? Definitely it is highly advisable. All right, so is there any specific Microsoft certification getting us ready for AI? Yes, the AI 900 and then the AI 102. AI 900 is a matter of 1-day training. Then you can sit for the exam if you want to get the certification. AI 102, it is a matter of 4 days training, and then you can sit for the exam. You are going, after you pass the exam for the AI 102, you are going to be considered as AI engineer. To be AI engineer, you are going to be really on high demand. My advice to you, before going for data training, you need to learn about Python, machine learning, deep learning. You need to learn the basics. You need to spend at least another 4 days learning those basics. Then you come to sit for that training. Then you sit for the exam. The exam, it is not necessarily to pass it from the first attempt. Maybe you go for second attempt, third attempt, then you pass the exam. But once you pass the exam, you are going to be considered as AI engineer by Microsoft worldwide, not only here in Malaysia. How Microsoft equip Malaysians with AI skills through the website? Yes, through the website and through the courses that I mentioned, and many other courses provided by Microsoft for the field of AI, not only those 2 courses. Agentic AI is AGI or not? Agentic AI is not AGI. Agentic AI, it works for your own purpose and whatever behind your purpose. Okay, you want to travel, then they help you to find airlines, they help you to find hotel, they will help you to find places to visit. AGI, it is a model to do multiple things. AI agent can travel, can drive, can cook, can work, can exercise like how a human. So agentic AI is different than AGI. AGI, it is artificial general intelligence. If you mean something about the computing, you know, NVIDIA, they come with the new software, which is for the TPUs, using the GPUs. And with that software, can multiple times, at least 2 or 3 times, improve the performance of the GPUs to handle this huge amount of data. Yeah, well, that able to keep training, continue forward. That's AI develop. Wow, very good question. I like the question. Thank you. Thank you for the question. Like, okay, so will that able to keep China continue forwards as US AI development? I just want to share with you this. China is the lead of every technology currently. Talking about AI, I'm in the field of AI. China now is the lead of the artificial intelligence. Before the pandemic, or maybe like from 2015 to 2020, definitely United States was the lead of the artificial intelligence. Sorry, especially when we are talking about Amazon. Yes, Amazon is the e-commerce, but was the leader of the deep learning at that time. Currently, China is the leader of the artificial intelligence. All right, but this is the reality of the Asian people, dealing with the Asian people for more than 15 years. Asian people, they do things professionally, but they don't make any noise. They don't talk about it, and they don't like to argue. Once you argue with the Asian, I mean Asian people in general, once you argue with the Asian, then they will say, okay, you are right. They don't like argument. But Westerners, they, with the full respect to everyone, definitely, they do things and they make a lot of noise. They make the whole social media busy about it. So that's why we always think that Westerners are the leaders of the technology, and they are very good with the argument. Asian, they say okay. So that's why we always think the West countries are the leader of the technology. I believe currently, especially when it comes to networking and artificial intelligence, China is the most advanced one. Related to the data privacy is the data is loaded to cloud, AI is data safe. Yeah, this is another very good question, which is about the privacy of the data and the safety of the data. The reality, there is no anything 100% safe or 100% secure. Cloud, it is the most secure place to keep the data. And then most of the cloud services currently, they provide you a storage to keep your data, to archive your data. At the same time, they allow you to encrypt the data. Because this is another fact. Okay, imagine I am the cloud provider and you are archiving the data and you are using my services to archive your data. Then definitely I have the ability to access your data. You are using my own service to archive your data, so I can access your data. But I'm going to give you the benefit of encrypt the data. So I'm not going to be able, even if I want to access the data, I'm not going to be able to look at the data. I need to use the method to decrypt your data to know what is your data about, which is going to be another barrier. Can I decrypt your data and look at your data? Yes. To say the truth, yes. But putting those barriers is going to make things difficult, and is going to make the cloud services are the most safe and the most secure place. Are they 100% secure or safe? No. You are very welcome. Thank you for the question. So let's move to the practical. I want to show you the first model. Okay, all right. So for the practical, I'm going to try to be as simple as possible for everyone to understand. But if you think something is going to be difficult, please ask. And definitely, this is the first time, so it might be a lot of things. It's not that easy to understand. Never mind. I just want you to understand the concepts. So whatever steps that I have mentioned in the slides just now, we are going to implement them now. So to do the coding, I'm going to use Colab. I'm going to use Google Colab. You can just search for Google Colab. All right. And then this is the one. Click on it. Then you are going to be directed not to this page. You are going to be directed to I think you need to sign in. Yes, you need to sign in with your Gmail account. Google Colab, it is considered as a part of the Google Cloud platform. This lab, it is an online lab. It is for free. You can do the training, you can do learning, you can do whatever related by using this one. And it's free. And the good thing about it, you are going to be able to archive all the codes in Google Drive. So you just click on a new notebook in Drive. All right. So this area, I'm going to write the codes, and then this is the title of the code. This is the title of my code. You just name it something that you can archive it and you can remember it. What is this code about? So I'm going to call it machine learning underscore model June 2025. All right. Okay, I'm going to have this code. And before I'm going to run this code, I'm going to share it with you. Just copy it and paste it in this cell, in this coding cell. All right. So this coding cell, the whole code is to be copy and paste. So what is this code? All of those, the first part, I'm not going to go into detail of everyone, but I just want to share with you, these are the tools that I'm going to use. These are the third-party tools. All of them, they have been built based on complex math, complex statistics, and I just need to use them. I don't have to care about the math and the statistics. And then this code, I just want to ignore whatever warning that I might have later on in terms of the warning, not errors. And then this one from number 1 up to end, this is about creating a data set. I'm going to create a data set. This data set is going to be 1,000 rows and 5 columns. And this data set is going to be about related to finance. Okay. And then based on the features, I'm going to build the model to learn from the data that I have. So we have those customers going to be created. Okay. And then we are going to use this data for the learning. If you have a question, why I'm creating the data, this is to maintain the privacy, or I can use whatever data available on the internet. The data available on the internet, I'm going to leave it to you. You can just use download for the sake of practicing. One of the very useful websites to find data sets for free, it is Kaggle. This is, if you want to learn machine learning, this is the best website to search for data. All the data are free. You can see your machine learning and data science community, Kaggle. So instead of getting the data from Kaggle, I'm going to create my own data. So this is about creating the data. This code of creating the data, I have asked ChatGPT to create a data set for me. I have asked ChatGPT to create a data set for me of 1,000 rows, 5 features. After we are going to finish building this model, I'm going to share with you the prompt that I used in ChatGPT. Then I'm going to show you like how fast and how easy. But the only thing here you need to know how to build the model. You need to practice. You need to know how to use Python. You need to know the steps of building the model. You need to practice, and then later on, you can use generative AI tool to speed up the process of building the model. But if you are not aware of how to build the model, or what is the right way to build the model, or what is the right way to improve the accuracy of the model, then those generative AI tools, they are not going to be helpful. Okay, you need to be good in your area, then using generative AI tool to speed up the process of being even better in your area. But if you are new to this area, generative AI tools, they are not going to really help you. You're going to have a lot of issues, a lot of mistakes. All right, so the whole code, you just click on the play here. This is to run the code. Once you click on the play, you can see this one is going to get connected, or you can just click on the connect. This is what? This is to connect this coding file to the Cloud Lab. You can see now it's connected. You have the RAM and the compute. This is provided by Google for free, and this is on the cloud. All right. So I'm going to click on this button. You can see it's going to take very few seconds. And if you click on here, you will see the data set is going to be generated, and it's going to be here. This is considered as the path. Right. Yes, this is the long data set. And then this is the data set. This is about reading the data set, saving the data set. And then this is about reading the data set. So maybe just the hashtag. And then this is about reading the data set. Okay, if you are not if you don't want to do the coding, or if you think I'm quite fast doing the coding, it's never mind. We are going to share all the codes with you later on. So this is considered as a demo. You understand what is going on. So this is to show the first 5 rows of the data set. Then we have these features: age of the customer, annual income of the customer, credit score of the customer, loan amount of the customer, and then defaulted, whether the loan was approved or was not approved. This is the first 5 among 1,000. I asked to generate 1,000. Okay, so this is first generating the data, and then looking at the data. So we are going to do something this is what we call a data exploration. One of the things it is definitely we need to look at the issues. One of the issues that we need to look at, it is the missing values. How to look at the missing values? I'm going to say df.info. This code is going to give me a quick full information about the whole data, or about the whole data set. So df.info, and then click on the play button. This is about to provide quick information about the data set. So you can see the data set, it comes into 1,000 entries. It means 1,000 rows. And then we have 5 columns. You can see age, annual income, credit score, loan amount, default. These are 900 not nil, and this one is 1,000 not nil. The total 1,000. This one 900 not nil. So it means we have missing value in each of those columns. To check again the missing value, we can say df.is nil, then brackets, then dot sum, then brackets, then we run this code. This is going to check for us if there is missing value, and then how many missing value on each column. So you can see those, the first 4 columns, we have 100 missing value on each of them. So solving the issues of the missing values. I'm going to have this code. This is number 2. This is now doing data wrangling, handling the missing value. And then this is about replacing the missing value with the median in all the columns. If there's a missing value, is going to be replaced with the median. We can replace the missing value with the mean. We can replace the missing value with the mode. We can replace it with the median. If you are interested in the technical part, then later on you join us for the technical, then you are going to understand why we use this, why we use that. So by running this code, now if I'm going to copy this code and I'm going to paste it here again, and then run the same code, you can see no missing value. The missing value by this code, the missing values was solved. So this issue, data wrangling, this is part of the data wrangling. So the issue of the missing value was solved. All right. So one more thing we do when it comes to the data, we do normalization. So before you're doing the normalization, let's do something we call it a quick statistical summary about the data. To have a quick statistical summary about the data, I'm going to say df dot now we call it data. We change to data. Data dot secret. You can see this is a quick statistical summary about the data. For each column, we are going to see the count, the number of rows, the mean value of this column, the standard deviation value of this column, the minimum value, 25, 50, 70 values of this column, what are about, and then the maximum value. Same goes for the rest of the features or for the rest of the columns. So the age, what is the minimum value? The minimum value is 21. And what is the maximum value? 65. There is a gap, the minimum and the maximum. Annual income, what is the minimum value? The minimum value is 20,000. Maximum value is 112K. Very big gap. Same goes credit score, loan, and then the defaulted is okay. It's between 0 to 1, minimum 0, maximum 1. Normalization, it is about to have the data to be in between small scale. We call it scaling. Or if we are going to have the data to be in between 0 to 1, we call it normalization. What we are going to do now, we are going to scale the data into smaller scales. So you can see this is now the minimum and the maximum. Now I'm going to do the normalization or scaling, and let's see what is going to be the result later on. This is the code here. This is for the normalization. I'm using standard scaler. It's a method going to scale the data into small scale. And then I'm going to use the same code, just copy and paste it here. Then run the whole code. All right, now because we have X and Y, so this is going to be an X scale instead of data. All right, so you can see now age minimum is -1.8, maximum is 1.8. Earlier, it was from 21 to 65. You can see the range. Annual income, minimum now is -2.2, maximum 2.7. Earlier, it was 20,000 to 112K. So scaling it into smaller scale. And then now we divided the data. So building a predictive model, what do we need to do? We need the model to learn from this data. So this data, these are the features, and these are the label. So the target feature here is the defaulted. So we want the model to learn from. And then later on, when we are going to have a new customer with these features, then the model is going to be able to predict the defaulted, either to be 0 or 1. I will show you. We are going to deploy it, and you are going to see. So we are done with the normalization. All right. And then now we are going to do exploratory data analysis. Exploratory data analysis, I'm going to skip it. I'm going to keep it for the code that I'm going to share it with you. It's going to take time, except the exploratory data analysis is about to show some visualization, some distribution of the data. All right. Later on, I'm going to show you another code just to speed up the process to save some time. Now we are going to divide the data set into training and testing. So this is the code. Why do we need to divide the data into training and testing? The training, the data, it is, let's say, okay, we have 1,000, right? I'm going to use 80% of them for training, so 800 rows. And then 20%, which is 200 rows, is going to be for testing. So the model is going to learn from 800. And then the model is going to predict the label of those 200. Then the predicted result is going to be compared with the actual label of the 200. Because that 200, I know what are the actual label. But I'm going to use them without label for the model to predict their labels after learning from the 800. Then the predicted result is going to be compared with the actual result to evaluate the model, to see the accuracy of the model. How accurate is the model in predicting the result. So this code about dividing the data set into training and testing. Then say y is equal to defaulted. Equal to so I'm going to run this code again and run this. You can see from the errors we always learn. I just want to share with you a few things when it comes to coding. You may think this code is quite difficult. First of all, whatever error that you have, it means you are going to learn a new thing when it comes to Python programming language. A lot of people, they think when they have a lot of errors, it means they cannot do coding or coding something is difficult for them to do. While having more errors, it means you are going to learn more. This is first. Second, please, and I would like to insist on this. Yes, please don't memorize any code. You don't have to memorize any code. You just need to understand how to use the code. Why you don't need to memorize codes? Because all the codes are open source. You can find them everywhere. Then you can use them for your own coding. All right? It's just only a matter of upskilling. Okay, so we are done with dividing the data set into train and testing on training. Then now I'm going to build the model by using one of the algorithm, and this algorithm called random forest. Do you know what is this algorithm about? No. Do you know the mathematical performance of this algorithm? No, unless you have read about this algorithm. But for those who are fresh to building the predictive model, are you aware of what is random forest about? No. You can see I'm calling the algorithm. I'm using it to learn from the training data. And then I'm using it here to predict based on the testing data. And then now I'm calculating the accuracy. Okay, I'm going to stop this. Then let's see the accuracy of this data. You can see the accuracy is 85%. Right? So after building the model, we said, okay, this is 85. Okay, it might be a happy result, right? What about if we tune the model? We are going to tune the model to see whether if we can provide better accuracy or not. So here are the tuners. These are the parameters. These are the tuning of the parameters, and then it's going to run a few times to calculate the accuracy. I'm going to run this code. you can see it's going to take time. It's not going to be that fast because this one trying multiple way. While the code is running, what are parameters? Parameters, the tuners of the algorithm. What are those parameters good for? Those parameters good for to be optimized in terms of their values for the better accuracy or for the better performance of the algorithm. We do that to improve from time to time. We do that to see what is going to be the best parameter for the best accuracy. You can see after running this code, this is the best parameter. These are the values of the parameters to be the best. And then the accuracy provided is 85.5. Earlier, it is 85.0. You can see by tuning the parameters, we were able to have better accuracy. Right? So now we are done, the accuracy accepted, then we can deploy the model. Deploying the model, we are going to use one of the free tools. This tool called Gradio. Is this the only tool to be used for the deployment? No, there are plenty of tools, but this is the easiest one and the one that for you to understand what is deployment. So this is the deployment. This is the tool, it's the Gradio. It comes with the free version. Not all free, is a free version. We can use it to just for the sake of understanding the deployment. So I'm going to use it. All right, let me, sorry. So this is the code for using Gradio. I'm going to run it and let's see. Sorry. Okay, deployment is going to be what? Now the model is learned, the model is evaluated, the evaluation is good. So I want to use this model. So using this model, I want to use the model to work on the new coming data. So I have two easiest way to do that. It is to build the GUI or to get the web app. Web app, it might be something difficult, but Gradio is going to provide you a web app. So you can see here, this is going to be the link, and this one is available for 1 week. Deployment. Now you can enter the values. I limited it between those data. You can enter the values. Okay, I'm going to say maybe the age is what? Maybe the age is 41. And then the annual income is 89,000. And then the credit score, it is 475. And then the loan amount, it is 24,000. Then submit. All right. The loan predicted as no is not going to be approved. And the probability of the default is 7%. So 7% the loan might be approved. So you can see how nice. I can share with you this code, sorry, this link. You can try at your site. So this is from reading the data set, cleaning the data set, doing whatever related to the data set, building the model and deploying the model. So the question is this everything? No, these are the basics. So when it comes to reading the data set, let me show you this model. Okay, this is the same one. Yes, all right, let me share with you. This is the prompt that I use. This is a user prompt, act as a professional data scientist. Create a data set of at least 1,000 rows and 5 columns for building a predictive machine learning model. Hyper-tune the algorithm for accuracy improvements and deploy by using Gradio. The dataset should come with missing values, not normalized values, imbalanced values, and whatever related to be used for data wrangling. Provide a Python code for data wrangling to solve all the mentioned issues. Provide Python code for EDA, exploratory data analysis. Build a predictive model using machine learning algorithm. Provide a part of hyper-tune the algorithm for better accuracy and provide a code to do deployment by Gradio. Then I was getting the rest, these codes, but I tune a lot. Let me show you the code if I'm going to use it again. I'm going to copy this code. First of all, I'm going to share it with you. Sorry, this is not the code. This is a prompt. The color file, the code file, yes, I will. We will share it with you. Sorry, I cannot share documents here in the chat. So the slides and coding files is going to be sent to you later on. Can I deploy the model without hypertuning? Yes, you can deploy the model without hypertuning. Hypertuning is an optional step, but later on, in reality, it is a must step. But it's an optional step if you are happy with the result. All right, ChatGPT, my friend, where are you? Okay, so this is a ChatGPT. Then I'm going to use the ChatGPT 4.1. This is good for writing and exploring. I think I'm going to, yes, sorry, 4.1 is the one that's good for coding and analysis. By the way, I'm using the paid version of ChatGPT. I'm not here to promote ChatGPT as long as I'm not sponsored. I wish I'm sponsored by ChatGPT, then I would promote it. But I'm paying for ChatGPT because I use it a lot. So I think it's worth paying for it. If it's worth paying for those tools, then you pay for it. If not, then you just use the free version till you become that heavy user, then you pay for it. So the same prompt, exactly. I just add it here, then I'm going to run. So you see almost the same code is going to be generated. See how nice, how easy. So I can use ChatGPT to build for me the code. See, this is what was done. We did earlier. See now, solving the issue of the missing value by using mean. Earlier, it was median. Dividing the data set, using, this is the exploratory data analysis, which is this one. It's exploratory data analysis. It takes time to run the code. Let me show you the results. Oh, here also it's going to take time. All right, then you run the code on your side. No worries. Then building the predictive model, also using random forests. Hypertune the random forest, and then using Gradio. This is a Gradio to deploy. And this is a summary. Okay, you can see I am familiar with building machine learning model. Once you are going to get familiar with building machine learning model, then you can use AI. You can use generative AI to help you with the code and to help you with whatever you need. Is ChatGPT the only one? No, you can use Gemini. You can use, okay, let's start Gemini, but I'm not using the paid version, Gemini. The same prompt. I believe Claude also doing very good job. For a period of time, I was using Claude for coding. It is one of the best. It was one of the best. You can see Gemini now using this way to generate the data, to do the unbalancing. This is the data set, data wrangling. And once you are familiar, you are going to see the code whether it's right or not. This is exploratory data analysis. Then predictive model by using also random forest. Is random forest the only algorithm? No. And this is Claude. So I think now you understand building the model and then using generative AI tool. If you don't understand what is going on, it's fine. Why? Because you need to get familiar with how to build machine learning model, how to build a predictive model. But you can see how useful, how fast. Later on, this model can be used for any kind of data. You just need to change whatever needs to be changed. Let me go back to the code file, the one that we did just now. So building the predictive model by using random forests. I'm going to click here. This is a new coding file. And the good thing, Gemini, it is integrated with the Colab. And Gemini, it is considered as what? Gemini is considered as another generative AI tool. Then I'm going to click on here. Start coding or generate with AI. I'm going to click on here. Use, I'm going to say use different algorithm to build the predictive see as fun as this. I'm going to click enter. This is while I'm doing the codes here. You can see now logistic regression, k-nearest neighbor, decision tree, Gaussian naive Bayes, and then those. So logistic regression, support vector machine, k-nearest neighbor, decision tree, naive Bayes, and then the multi-layer perceptron. This is related to artificial neural network. How many algorithms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I will say this one is 6. Then I'm going to run this code. Earlier, it was by using what? It was by using random forest. Now, by using different algorithm, X train, Y train, Y, there's an error, is not defined. Oh, sorry, not this. Is it this? We are using June, no. This is the one. Sorry, I use a different one. It's all right. So let's copy the prompt. I'm so lazy to write it again with a lot of typo. We are just getting lazy and lazy of this technology. All right, where is the random forest? Validation, random Vipertion error. Let's see other algorithms if they are going to be able to provide better accuracy. Okay, now only support vector machine, logistic regression, and then and see gradient boosting machine. This is different. This is only 3. Okay, no worries. I'm going to run. Might take some times. But you can see how using generative AI with the with writing the code to build a model. This. Yes, support vector machine give us 84 logistic regression, 81.5 gradient both accuracy, 85.0 random forest, 85 after tuning, then 85.5 support vector machine provide us, and gradient boosting accuracy provide us 85, and this one 84. After tuning those two algorithms, we might go beyond 85.5. We might get higher accuracy than the tuned random forest. The question is, do you know all of those algorithms? I believe most of you know. Do you know the statistical and the mathematical equations and calculations behind those algorithms? No. You just need to know the algorithms, the available algorithms, use them, you see which one is going to provide you the best results, then you just use it. You tune the models, find the best parameter, then use it. My advice, do you really need to know every single thing about the algorithm? No, but it's good if you are going to understand how the algorithm, at least how the algorithm work. You don't have to worry about the equations. You just need to understand how the algorithm work. Okay, so you can see it's like how fun. But again, you need to know how to build the model. This code might look a little bit alien to you. It's okay, because you need to understand Python programming language. You need to know how to build machine learning model. And then later on, I'm sure you are going to be more creative, and you are going to be able to build model by using those generative AI tools. And you are going to be able also to develop the parameters, to develop the accuracy here. So I'm going to leave it to you to develop the accuracy over here and over here. All right, let me share with you this code. So I think we just missed the exploratory data analysis. Let me have it here. Do this code, because now you have your homework here to improve the accuracy. So exploratory data analysis before the modeling, then after normalization, which is supposed to be here. I'm going to run it. So you'll see us quite okay. That didn't take that long. Still running. So it's a lot of visualization, relationship of the features, distribution. You can see this is all the features among other features and how distributed they are. Maybe you can look at and you can understand what is going on. Just keep in mind, this data is considered as simple data set for the sake of training, for the sake of learning. In reality, you are going to deal with the more complex data. Let me show you another one before we stop for questions. All right, you can see this data, it is quite complicated. This data, it comes with the 5,000 row, 25 columns. And then it's still having an issue with the gradient. So for this one, I'm going to share it with you with the data set. And anyway, I have also created this data set, but I'm going to share with you the data set for your own understanding, for your own good. If you want to look at like something more complicated, the problem with this data, it comes with the 25 was sorry, 25 features and 5,000 rows. So df.info. And see 5,000, and then it's 26 columns. So this is also about the loan. You can see these are all the missing values here, and it's a little bit more into detail. It comes with the balancing, fixing the issue when the missing value is a numerical, when the missing value, this is the missing value when it is a numerical, this is when this is numerical, this is when categorical, and just comparing two algorithms, logistic regression and random forest. Tuning the model, this takes a long time to get the answer because the data is more complex. And then building the gradient. With the gradient, I'm still having an issue. Then it's going to be a good homework maybe for you to work at. So I'm going to share with you these two coding files. This is going to be the one. And then the other one. The other one, I'm going to share it with you the data set. And this one, it is including the data set earlier. All right. Okay. So just to back again. Yes, I'm coming back with the questions. I'm sorry. It took longer. I talk a lot. So building the generative AI. So after building the machine learning, after building the predictive model, then you can build your own. So the steps. What is the goal? What do you want to do? When it comes to the generative AI tool, do you want content writing? You want audio, video, image, other things? Then you have to come with the goal. All right. So understand the fundamentals. Choose your own base model and the framework. You have to choose the libraries that are related. There are a lot of libraries currently related to the generative AI tool. Then you have to set up the development environment. So how you are going to do the coding? You still can use Google Colab, but Google Colab, it has a limit. I believe the model that you are going to build is going to be beyond the limit of the Google Colab, unless you are going to pay for the professional. And then gather and prepare your data set. Data set is going to be from where? Generative AI tool. You are going to deal with a lot of data set, but for the sake of the training, if you want to learn how to build the generative AI tool, there are data sets available. We can use them with the current available computing. Fine tuning, evaluate the model, iterate and refine. It's going to be a lot of iterating and refine for the better performance, and then deploy and monitor if it is applicable. The one that I'm doing, I didn't deploy it. I'm just running the code every time. But if I want to use it for business or I want to use it for my work, with my team, with my people, then I need to build a simple GUI like the one that I show you just now, the gradient. All right. Please consider the ethic and the responsible AI. Let me share with you a funny story, and this is a real story. Back to those 10 years ago, when deep learning came to the market, one of the American companies, they have quite a number of employees queuing up every morning to use the access card to let the door open for them to access the company. So they want to use a technology, so they develop a model, and that model was based on the facial recognition by using deep learning. They install a camera with the AI, so the camera will recognize the face of the employee, then the door will be automatically opened without using the access card by the employee to open the door. So they want people not to queue up. So the door will be automatically open to speed up the process of letting the employees in. Then the model was only trained on the white skin faces. So the white skin faces, the door was open automatically by using the camera. But for those dark skin faces, the door was not open. They still have to use the access card. I'm not sure whether they did it on purpose or not in the United States, but this is what we call it bias and the ethics of AI. So the model was biased to the white skin than the dark skin. That was a movie about it. Okay, so we move to the questions. Okay, the model can be built, and if the model built can be installed in the mobile phone to execute, for example, to automate some task using third-party app. Yes, it's possible. So the final product can be like the one that I shared with you, the link, can be the GUI, can be mobile app, can be web app, can be any other format that you are looking for. Can use Jupyter Notebook? Yes, please. Jupyter Notebook, it's definitely way better. Just use a Jupyter Lab. Regarding China leadership in AI, I wonder how do you define the Chinese, the leader of AI compared to the US? All right, so I think one of the example, you look at the DeepSeek. So DeepSeek, it is the first generative AI tool came to the market, and it was the first generative AI tool by China, right, from China. And if you look at the stock market and what happened to the stock market when DeepSeek came to the market, making like every company lose. And I think NVIDIA was having the biggest loss in the history of the companies. And that one was due to the compute. So the cost for the compute, it was used for the DeepSeek, it is way cheaper than the cost of the compute it was used for other generative AI tools. So this is like only very simple example to talk about how China is the leader currently in terms of the AI. The biggest challenge, and it's not the only challenge, but this is the biggest challenge, it is the compute when it comes to the generative AI tool. So you can see like how China was solving this. And I think now we have a new one called Manos. I heard about it. I didn't use it yet, but it seems doing very well. So in the prompt, the response will give us various predictive model algorithm to choose which one we need to use. It's going to say if the prompt is general, because in that prompt, I didn't mention which algorithm. I just mentioned an algorithm. So it's going to, the model, the prompt going to choose one. The generative AI going to use one. If not, you can mention the name of the algorithm. As long as you are familiar with the algorithms, then you can mention the name of the algorithm, then you can ask the prompt, then the code is going to be provided based on those algorithms. The gradient of the predictive cannot work. Yeah, because I stopped it, sorry. You just need to, I'm going to share with you the code. Later on, you just run the code, then you can create your own link.